What movie has the greatest what the frick ending? Hard Candy. The entire movie had me saying what the frick. Fun fact. I went to see this on a first date when it came out. Got the scariest blowjob of my life afterwards. Nice. Bro, what? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You could really say that ending was a cop-out. I have been saving those free Reddit coins for something, and for some reason this was it. How Game of Thrones should have ended. Missed. It was really disturbing. I have to say this is one of the very few times I think the movie was better than the book. That ending was shocking. Funny, Stephen King said the same thing. End of Evangelion. When all your friends turn into orange Fanta. Congratulations. Clapping hands. Clapping hands. Clapping hands. Ex Machina. It's not that the end was a huge twist, necessarily, but it really left you with a lot of questions. Domhnall Gleeson's character is left to fricking starve to death. What the frick? Don't worry, he'd die of dehydration long before starvation. My reaction was less what the frick and more well I'll be damned. It's very rare to see that type of ending in that type of big budget Hollywood movie. I loved it. The original The Thing, that fricking movie is so ambiguous that it still fricking terrifies me. Even the end when the last survivor is met up with someone else who is also a survivor, then it gives you a zoomed out shot and goes to black and it leaves you with the question, is he real or did he become a thing? So many questions that were left unanswered that still terrify me to this day. By original, you mean John Carpenter's version? Tusk. I actually cannot look at or think of walruses the same anymore. That movie kind of fricked me up. I dies at least 6 times in that movie. I didn't even understand that it was supposed to be funny until I was googling what the frick just happened to me after the movie. It's walruses for you. I can't look at Justin Long the same anymore. Mulholland Drive. No contest. Nearly threw the remote through the screen the first time I watched it. LOL. Picking a David Lynch movie is practically cheating. All of Twin Peaks season 3 was a what the frick moment after moment. David Bowie's character became a massive tea kettle. One episode took place mostly inside an atomic bomb explosion, and it might be the greatest television episode ever filmed. 2001. A Space Odyssey. A couple of years back I went to a screening of 2001, and at the end, just when the credits stayed, a voice from the back of the theater exclaimed, "What the hell was that?" While I love 2001 and think it is a cinematic masterpiece, I have to concede the man did have a point. This should be much higher in the list. Unless you've read the book, a full 2/3 of that movie makes little to no sense. OLDBOY, if that movie doesn't make you feel wrong for a few days, you ain't right to begin with. This movie made me go on a masturbation-free streak for longer days than pre-Easter confession. Yup. Atonement. I lost the ability to trust after watching that. My friend calls it sad clue. Oh, I felt the ending was gut-wrenching and amazing. I was shattered for quite a while on that ending, in a shockingly good way. I even tried to read the book afterwards, but my word is that author a bore. Props to the screenwriter for writing it compellingly. 7. Most disturbing ending. What's in the bulwarks? Did you see the storyboards for the alternate ending? Morgan Freeman's character would have killed Kevin Spacey to save Brad Pitt from jail. Hereditary. Holy shit. That movie wasn't very scary, but so unnerving for some reason. And yay, the ending was a major what the frick. If you hadn't seen it, I highly recommend the original Rosemary's Baby. Hereditary was very influenced by it, and it has that same unsettling, but not really scary feeling. I was on a steep climb on an overstrong THC edible for the last 30 minutes of that movie. So, yay, that was a holy shit kinda ending for me too. Memento. The whole movie is in reverse, scenes in backwards order, so technically it has a what the frick beginning. I feel like I'm a relatively intelligent person, but I still think this movie was over my head. Watched it right after it came out, was confused, and then I started thinking I wasn't smart enough to watch a second time to figure the whole thing out. Annihilation. Unsettling, and Arrival beautifully sad. Thank you for the gold, anonymous Reddit friend. It made my day that my first gold was for these two incredible movies. I went into Arrival knowing almost nothing about it. I started expecting another cheesy alien movie, but by the end of it, it was the first movie to make me cry since The Land Before Time when I was like 5 years old. Everything about it was way better than I expected. The cinematography, the thought they put into the language, their relationship, the end. The scene of her in their environment with her hair floating all around her was so haunting. Right? I was literally crying at the end. American Psycho. Was it all real or fake? It could be taken as your legal counsel. I strongly suggest you shut the frick up. Or it could be taken as all in his head. The author says that it is all real. Yeah, I could see it either way until he's in the running gunfight in the streets with cops. They're not just gonna let that go. And you don't get away from a situation like that. Oh, and the ATM asking to be fed a cat. And then Paul Allen wasn't even dead. Pushed me back to he was just fantasizing the killings. Parasite. Sleepaway Camp. Is this the one with Bruce Springsteen's sister? That was the sequels. She wasn't in the first one. Sausage Party LOL. I completely forgot this movie existed. Holy shit. I accidentally went on opening weekend. Friend wanted to see it. I'd never heard of it. It was an awful movie, but in a packed theater it was hysterical. Not sure what the hell the movie was called, but I remember it was American about these aliens which were evolving and came from a meteor, and the ending was genuinely that Dove Head and Shoulders shampoo did the same thing as water to the aliens in Signs. I shit you not. Evolution is the movie. Hilarious movie. The part where Orlando Jones gets sucked into a giant alien butthole gets me every time. Kakor and Tuki Tuki. I think we have established that the Kakor Tuki Tuki does not work. The Sixth Sense. Kinda basic, but a classic. I cried during the car scene when he tells his mum what the grandma says. Broken heart. The Departed was pretty crazy. Especially DiCaprio in the elevator. Literally stunned LOL. For me, Requiem for a Dream. I was a relatively innocent young man when I first watched, and it struck me as what the frick? This is way too over the top and dark. Then watching it later as an addict, when I was over I said to myself, wait, what the frick? It is actually plausible and realistic. You watched that and then became an addict. I remember watching the movie for the first time when I was 17. It instantly became my favorite movie of all time, and weirdly enough, made me fascinated with Jared Leto's character and heroine. I started researching a whole lot more into it, and watching videos of heroin addicts, and I couldn't lie, part of me craved that lifestyle, even though I know how bad it was. I even started hanging out and making friends with people who did hard drugs. It's weird how much of an impact the movie had on my life, as I transitioned to adulthood. What were they strung out on? I remember the mum popping a lot of pills and the guy's arm getting infected, but was it ever said in the movie? Shutter Island. In my opinion. Such a good ending, and they hinted at it the whole time, but I didn't pick up on any the first watch through. Like the scene where somebody is drinking, but the cup goes empty after a sip. His partner struggling with a gun holster near beginning was the bit I looked out for after reading the book. 100%. Swiss Army Man. That whole movie is what the frick LOL. Predestination. Interstellar. Enemy. There it is. Anyone said Donnie Darko yet? Mother. I remember her actually saying out loud in the theater, what the frick. Ready or Not. No Country for Old Men. You know you don't have to do this. The Usual Suspects when we find out who Keyser Söze really is. Nah, that's a no. Shit. Ending. Lost Highway with Bill Paxton. The Departed. I came here looking for this one. I was working at a movie theater. Wondered what this movie was about. Walked in at the rooftop. And watched the rest. I was like, alright, I have to figure out what just happened. And the movie isn't any less good knowing what happens at all. It's one hell of a masterpiece to me. Midsommar. I think that's the first time I finished a movie and literally said what the frick, what a weird movie out loud. Midsommar. This whole movie felt like a fever dream. But the end. Seriously, what the frick? Fight Club. Stop talking about Fight Club. You're also breaking rules 1 and 2. I would say Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but that was kind of just what the frick all the way through. It was hilarious though. Bro, I'm literally watching the ending of the movie right now. This is wild. What the frick? That's an offensive weapon. That is. Good. Parasite. Bad. Knowing. Knowing was like this innocent thriller, mystery, detective vibe and became this insanely cheesy sci-fi movie where almost everyone dies. To be honest, I was left disappointed. The Cabin in the Woods. I'm not a big fan of horror movies, but knowing that Joss Whedon was involved I had to give it a watch. Figuring out as I was watching that it was basically a satire of all the horror tropes that I hate made me appreciate it. And then the ending happened. Appreciation evolved into love. Inception. 7. How has this not been said? Mandy was just a frickin' experience. There will be blood. I don't want to spoil anything, but this is one of those this is reality movies, not a happy ending. Requiem for a Dream. I'll never watch that movie again. Same. I was in a film club in college and we watched arty, slow moving films almost as a rule. Occasionally very sexy foreign films. Some dingus thought we should watch that. It had just come out so no one really knew it. People were literally crying when it finally ended. Several folks were pissed. It had an impact, but several people were actually pretty traumatized and kind of decompensated. Not a movie to watch lightly. Sorry to bother you. I remember I saw it online after somebody recommended me it in an AskReddit thread. Shit was funny. Then shit went south.